Next email we have comes from Grant from Bangor, Maine. Hey dudes, been listening to the cast for a while and I enjoyed the conversation you had a few episodes back surrounding your history at GameStop and GameCrazy. My question is there a specific midnight launch you guys remember or that stands out to you as being the pinnacle of midnight launches? The original Black Ops always sticks out to me. Was curious, being you guys were on the other side of the counter, what ones would stick out to you as being huge or memorable?
Big ones. Why don't you go first while I try to think of like game?
I mean, the one that I will always point to, but I was not working at GameStop at the time, would be Halo 3. That's probably the biggest one. I mean, I think I've said before, but like somebody turned their Jeep into a fucking warthog.
Yeah.
And at midnight, you know, when it's dark out, it looked cool. And then I saw it the next day driving around town. It looked like ass. So it looked cool at that midnight because it was dark. And it's like you really couldn't see. I'm like, oh, yeah, somebody made a warthog. And then the next day, it's like, oh, this is just like cardboard terribly painted on this vehicle. That was a huge midnight. And that was back when the strip center that our GameStop was in still had a Walmart, it had a grocery store, and like that line went all the way to the fucking Walmart, where then people were waiting in line at Walmart to also buy Halo 3. So
yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that. That's crazy.
That was a huge midnight. I don't think I've ever seen that many people. I remember finding out later that store, the store that we worked at, had over 600 reserves for that.
Yeah, I believe it.
Think about those kind of numbers now.
I mean, there were some bigger ones. I mean, I'm just trying to think of like ones that you and
Black Ops was a big one. Ones that you and I worked. I think I would argue the biggest midnight that you and I worked would have been the system launches.
System launches were big.
PS4 and the Xbox.
But those were a little different.
More so.
That's like a curated experience kind of thing. It was for people who could buy it. It wasn't just for everyone.
Yeah.
Halo 4, even for not being a great game, was pretty busy. Remember we cut off like the back half of the store with the gondolas and stuff. We kind of like set it up back there because they actually gave us like Doritos and Mike and Ike's and all kinds of shit.
That happened with some midnights where they would give us stuff that we could hand out. We didn't have to do, the budget or whatever that they would tell you.
Other very big ones were like at GameStop. The store I worked at before that, Skyrim.
Skyrim was big.
Skyrim was insane comparatively to like non-shooter games for like a midnight thing. Was crazy. I had people there.
I watched a grown ass man cry when he received his copy.
Yeah, I mean, we had people there. I worked pretty much all day that day. We had people there lining up at like 2:00 for Skyrim.
Dang.
For a single player game, we had people lining up. These guys brought chairs. They said they asked can we set up outside? We're like, if you want to, man, just don't block the door. We don't care.
Yeah, that was always the thing.
Don't block the door. Other businesses' doors. That one, that store was small and it was in a small strip thing. That line went all the way fucking around the building.
I think that the way that we started handling midnights, I think that kind of stuff changed
a little bit
because it really didn't matter at that point, with the pre-rings and all that kind of stuff.
But, that one was crazy because people brought food. A game truck showed up and parked in the parking lot. My boss bought a copy of the game to give away. There was people just kept bringing food. Like the one guy was got off of work at a pizza place and he brought us a fucking pizza. And sandwiches and all this stuff. People were bringing drinks. Everybody it was for as busy as it was and as crazy as it was because the store was very small. It was like a chill hangout kind of a midnight. Yeah. It was very cool. Back before that, at the store before that, Black Ops, the first one was fucking crazy.
I remember that one being pretty crazy.
That one we had my store probably had close to 500 or 600, and it was. Most of our strip mall was empty. So it was all the way down, all the way around. The fucking military showed up. Jersey Mike's brought a fucking table from their restaurant and set it up inside and was giving out sample things. We had water balloons. We had all kinds of shit at that one. That one was nuts. Again, but
you and I kind of watched the death of midnights for games because the one that always sticks out in my mind as being the worst one was Uncharted 4.
That was bad
because it was we had one guy show up.
We had more people for
pick up his copy.
What else was crazy? GTA 4 was crazy.
GTA 5 was a crazy one
5
too.
was crazy. San Andreas was nuts. Vice City was crazy.
Those would have been
those were game crazy days, like man. But like Vice City, San Andreas, goddamn dude, I remember that one almost stretched to the movie theater. It went all the way down.
That's
and that was when we were inside Hollywood. So like Hollywood was making a shitload of money. We were making a shitload of money. It was crazy because Hollywood was open till midnight anyway. And so just like people were in there, like I can't even imagine. Even at GameCrazy, which was still relatively new at the time, we probably had 400 pre-orders, which for us at a GameCrazy was unbelievable.
Yeah.
God, that one was nuts.
Well, that was also at a time where that was the only way. There was no digital.
You had to come in. You had to buy it physical.
You had to come in and get your copy.
You really kind of had to reserve it, even though we had extra copies. But at GameCrazy, we didn't get a lot of extra stuff, just because the company was so fucking run like idiots. What else? What else did we do? Halo 3 was crazy there. The Wii launch was nuts, even though we had nothing.
I remember the Wii launch too, because I was on the other side of that one.
You want to know the craziest Nintendo launch I ever did? This wasn't a midnight, but the craziest. Guess what game that was the craziest Nintendo launch I ever did? I'll give you a hint. It's somewhere in the 2009 to 11 range.
Smash Brothers of some sort.
Gold and Silver for the DS.
Oh,
people were fucking insane about that game. Man.
Okay.
My God, the amount of copies we must have had combined 1,000 copies.
Damn.
Of those, and like a lot of people bought both, and those were. And remember, they had the Pokemon things; they were more expensive. And then we had these stupid pre-order figures, which my boss was an asshole and was just giving them to anybody who asked for them. And I told him halfway through when I realized what he was doing, I told him, "Are you fucking crazy? You're going to get somebody killed. We're running out of these things."
Yeah.
But some lady would ask him, "Oh, I have 4 kids, but you only reserve 1 copy of the game. But I have 4 kids. He'd give her 4." I told him, like, stop. You have to stop this. We don't have enough anyway. That was probably the craziest Nintendo launch. That one wasn't fun. Now, I'll tell you right now, Nintendo launches, they're not fun.
None of them were ever fun.
They're terrible.
No. The worst.
The Smash Brothers one was insufferable because that one kid.
Mm-hmm.
And we would do what we could to set stuff up. I remember the Borderlands one was pretty busy. Borderlands 2.
Yeah, that one was pretty big.
That was when we still had the big TV. Remember before our DM stole it? We had a big TV we could set up stuff for.
Yeah.
But he was an ass. Yeah, man. Midnight's.
I'm just gonna borrow this.
Midnights for the most part were pretty fun. I mean, but then for every really great one, there was a really bad one. At GameCrazy, we had to do a midnight for Driver 3.
That's bad.
You know how many people picked that up? 0.
1. 0. Okay.
Drive. What GameCrazy worked is we didn't pay for same day shipping on anything. Well, what happened is the product would come into O'Hare, and somebody from a closer store would have to go out to O'Hare and pick up all the product, and then we'd all have to go to their store and go pick it up and bring it back. So we had it in time for the midnight. So I drove all the way. I drove 45 minutes to pick up probably 20 copies of Driver 3, and I think maybe we had maybe 10 pre-orders. Who knows? And nobody fucking came. I didn't work at that. I thank God I didn't work that one. But I called my buddy at like 12, and I was like, "So what happened?" He's like, "Nobody showed up." I'm like, "That checks out. Go ahead and close it up." What else were bad ones? That was bad. Dead or Alive. We had one once because it was Dead or Alive.
You talking about the Dead or Alive 5 one?
Yeah, but it was that and something else.
I was gonna say I don't think that was a Dead or Alive midnight. That was a midnight that had
any smaller than we had to have combos of stuff for it to be worth it to pick up. But even then, like sometimes it'd be really fucking weird.
I can tell you when Arkham Asylum came out, I was one of the only people that went and picked that up at midnight because that was an unproven franchise at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Arkham City was a crazy midnight. Arkham Knight, which I worked,
I wasn't there,
was a crazy midnight. You were not at that one.
I got this.
You know the stories of that.
Yeah, I know that one.
But that one was pretty busy.
Mm-hmm.
So
those were pretty busy. Any kind of like big name thing that was like a sequel, people were all about it. Trying to think, like Last of Us, I don't remember being busy because again, it was kind of unproven.
Yeah.
And by the time Last of Us 2 came around, That was like a digital time.
The digital age.
Yeah.
And it was also COVID. So, that kind of killed.
Yeah. So just like, I have good midnight memories. I have bad midnight memories. I never really had to bring up any like fights or anything. A lot of times we had copies for everybody of something, of most things. But every so often you get the one guy who's like, "Did you pre-order it?" No, we don't have any extra, dude. What?
That would happen.
Your games.
That would happen.
Sorry. Or the thing that would make it the worst is when we started doing pre-rings, we could ring stuff up at 6 and get the lines going. But then people would wander in at 12. I'm here to pick up my pre-order copy. Awesome. You're going to have to wait till everybody else is out of here before I think about it.
That was always awful.
I heard it was a midnight. Dude, we haven't had midnights in years.
Yeah.
Because remember, midnights became 11 and then they became 9.
Well, then became on whenever the fuck they decided that the digital release was of the game. I always remember like Witcher 3 was one where because it was out at like Poland. 5 p.m. our time in Poland, they were like, "Oh, just fucking sell it now." And so there wasn't a midnight. It just was us calling the people that had it reserved, like, "You just come get the game now, dude."
Yeah. Or you get the people who would call and like our rule was we would stay open 5 minutes past whoever the last person left was.
Yeah, and that was fair.
And then, like, from that point on, there's 5 minutes. It doesn't matter if somebody else shows up in between this. It's 5 minutes from that point. And then you'd always get the people who try to call you, like, "I'm like 15 minutes away." Great, you can pick it up tomorrow. What are you talking about?
Like, we're closed
tomorrow, dude. We're closed.
Well, I think at some point we got to a point where, like, after the door was closed, somebody called, "We're not even going to answer the phone." Yeah.
Don't open the door. Sorry. Once the door's locked, don't open the door.
Yeah, it's closed.
We're closed.
This doesn't mean we're just open all night, So, but yeah, I mean, there were good ones and there were bad ones. So,
system launches.
It's a thing now that I look back upon and go, "Man, I'm glad I don't have to go out at midnight to pick up this fucking
Nobody
game."
does anymore.
Yeah, no.
The only thing people do stupid shit for anymore is Pokemon cards.
Yeah, that's the only thing that I really see that stuff
Yes.
on anymore.
Yep.
But that's not midnight, so it's usually like 8 a.m. or whatever. They're camping out all night though.
Yep.
Yeah.
But did you know GameStop had a midnight release for this most recent set?
They did, yeah. My friend tried to get me to work it. I told her, "You're crazy." Like,
no thanks.
I'm out of town. Number 2, hell no. Like, sorry.